Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to this. And I want to talk to you a little bit about courage. Courage. I believe that a lack of courage occurs first in thought. It occurs first in your thought. Now, when you look at Joshua chapter 1, be strong and have good courage occurs 8 times in the entire book of Joshua. However, in Joshua chapter 1, verse 6, verse 7, verse 9, and verse 18, that same word, courage, occurs. Be of a good courage, of a good courage. Uh, be strong and very courageous. Be of a good courage. If that was not important, God would not have said it to Joshua. But it's so important. He repeated it 4 times in Joshua chapter 1 alone. He repeated, 4 times in Joshua chapter 1 alone. So, first of all, let's look at the meaning of the word courage. According to Google, it says courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. Another meaning is strength in the face of pain or grief. So, as one who does not like pain, I now realize that it's because I lacked courage, I could not face pain all these years. You see, so begin to place yourself wherever you find this. Now, something else I have realized is a precursor of the presence of courage in you is the ability to think right. Let me explain that after I have given you a little bit of history about the etymology of the word courage. You'll be amazed and this will become important to you in your life. Etymology of the word courage. It comes from the Latin word cor, C-O-R, C-O-R, cor, meaning heart. What does that tell you? We talk about the core of a person, the heart of a person. When you talk to a trainer, a personal trainer, they tell you the core is right around your back to the front, your abdomen. That's the core. It also comes from the word courage. That's the old French. And it led to the word courage, which is the Middle English. It denotes heart as the seat of feelings. So courage is a feeling. It's in the heart. It's not just anywhere. It comes from your heart, your core, the place where if that heart stops beating, or if you're not speaking from the heart, you are nothing, you are no more. There's just, you're not speaking. We just know you're just sounding. And if your heart stops beating, you are no more. We can see you, your body, your lifeless body, but we cannot speak. We can speak to you, but you cannot speak back to us. So you have no heart. So in the 13th century, heart, courage, as the seat of emotions. Hence, it meant then spirit. And it still does mean that. When you say someone has spirit, yeah, they've got spirit. It means temperament. It means state or frame of mind. It means innermost feelings. It means your temper. This is another meaning, a quality of mind which enables one to meet danger and trouble without fear. And this meaning began to be used in the late 14th century. Now you know courage means heart. It means feelings, your innermost feelings. It means the state or frame of your mind. Now, if you've ever listened to me, you will know that mindset is not the same as thought set. So I don't teach you on mindset, I teach you on thought set. Why? Because your thoughts set your mind. Your thoughts set your mind. So according to Romans chapter 12, verse 2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We know that renewing means renovation. What renovates your mind? It's your thoughts. So it depends on what you are thinking that will determine the state and frame of your mind. So you can change your mindset if you will pay attention to your thought set so that you can now create the kind of mind and set it the way you want. Now let's look at some antonyms. That's the opposite words of courage. Cowardice, fear, irresolution, timidity, weakness, faint-heartedness. These are the opposite of courage. So when you are not courageous, when the state or frame of your mind, when your innermost feelings are not of courage, that means they are not filled with the ability to do something that frightens you. You don't have the strength to face pain or grief. That means your heart is filled with cowardice. It's filled with fear. It's filled with irresolution. You have not decided which way are we going. How are we going to bring a solution to this? Timidity. You are small. You feel, maybe I won't be able to do this. It's filled with weakness. Your heart is faint-heartedness. But when I looked at the meaning of the word courage as used, I actually came from Psalm 31, verse 24, the last verse of Psalm 31. And it says there, let me go right to it. It says there, be strong and fill your hearts with courage, all you who hope in Adonai. That's the CJB translation. That is the Christian Jewish Bible translation. Be strong and fill your hearts with courage, all you who hope in Adonai. I wondered, how can you fill your heart with courage? Can you just feel it? You just take your heart and pour courage into it. So I had to look up the King James. This is Psalm 31, verse 24. So I had to look up the King James version of it, like, what are they talking about? And let me tell you what the King James version says. It says, be of good courage and he shall strengthen your heart. So being of good courage is you being it. Then you will get the strength of God strengthening your heart, not strengthening your muscles, strengthening your heart where courage is. All ye that hope in the Lord. Again, Psalm 31, verse 24. And that is what took me to the Strong's Concordance. Like, are there any other words used with the same meaning? And I found the same meanings, that word courage, in the Hebrew Aramaic, whichever one it was written, as having the same meanings. Let me tell you what those meanings are. In the Hebrew, that word courage or courageous means to fasten upon. So when you see that image I put up there that says, lack of courage is evidence of loss. You've lost something, you've let go of it when you are not fastening onto it. So yesterday, you had this idea, this grandiose idea, you are going to do this, you are going to do that. You could see it in your imagination. When you woke up this morning, you don't have the idea anymore. The idea is there, but the I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it happen, disappeared. I promise you, I inform you now that has been the bane of my existence. I get an amazing idea. You could ask my friends. I'll tell them about the idea and it just doesn't happen. And I was wondering, what devil is this? It wasn't a devil. It was me. It was me not letting go of evidence of loss. Fasting upon. That's what that Hebrew word courage means. To seize. Now, when you seize something, S-E-I-Z-E, it's in your possession. But when you let go of it, it's no longer in your possession. Evidence of a lack of loss. Be strong. When you are not strong, you are weak. Evidence of a lack of loss. That word, those two words, be strong, it is now further broken down into 4 other words. Cure, C-U-R-E, help, repair, fortify. When you can repair something or you choose not to, is evidence of loss. Like you are not doing it, you've just let it go. It's somewhere, but you don't have it. It's not with you. You've lost it. And it's amazing that all you need to do to find it or get it back is to seize it, to be strong. Now, these are functions of thought. Like I said, a precursor to the presence of courage in you is the ability to think right. Fill your heart with courage. That's a you thing. You do that. Another word for that word in Hebrew for the word courage or courageous is obstinate. Though that word is broken down into 3 other words: bind, restrain, conquer. Those things talk, when you're obstinate, that means I'm not changing, I'm not moving. I am staying where I am. That decision I have made, it does not matter. In that wise, you are binding yourself to something. You are restraining yourself from something or restraining someone else from getting it. You are conquering. That is courage. That is courage. That is courage. That is courage. And I encourage you. That word encourage means endue with courage. I encourage you to fill your heart with courage. When you think courage, that is the ability to do something that frightens you simply by holding on. Just say, I'm holding on. I'm restraining myself from this. No, this is not going to happen. I'm going to be obstinate about this particular matter. I'm going to help people. I'm going to cure this. I'm going to repair this. I'm going to put more boulders around this so I can fortify it. Now you are talking. So when you think courage, you think the loss of fear, you think the loss of timidity, you think the loss of irresolution, you think the loss of cowardice, the opposite of courage, because you can't have courage and fear at the same time. And the opposites of what I've just said pertain. So when you think irresolution, you can't think courage. That's the loss of courage. So one cannot be fearful and courageous at the same time. It starts with thought, like the woman with the issue of blood, who thought of it, having spent all her money for years, 12 years, she's been bleeding nonstop every day. Think about that, nonstop every day. Then she said to herself, well, if I could but touch the hem of his garment, I'll be healed. She thought it, spoke to herself about it, then acted on it. She could not have acted on it if she had not thought it. She could not have said it if she had not had the thought first. It always starts with a thought. So let me end with this. Robert Frost said, the saddest thing in life is that the best thing in it should be courage. I encourage you to join me on this quest of teaching God's people the fine art of how to think right. Courage is non-negotiable. Look at your life and determine you are going to be courageous. You feel your core. Courage is your core, your heart. Join me at the How to Think Spiritually Bootcamp. So you fill yourself with courage for wealth. You fill yourself with courage for everything that doesn't look like you. It looks like, I'll never get this. I'll never do this. I'll never attain to this. And the only way to think right is to think God's word. What's written in the Bible. But you cannot think what you don't know. You cannot think on what you don't know. I encourage you. Be strong and of a good courage.